Good day, grade 5. Today we are going to study about the phases of the moon. Infer the pattern in the changes in the appearance of the moon, weather disturbances, any disruption of the atmosphere stable condition which can manifest through the formation of low pressure or different prevailing winds, like monsoon in the intertropical convergence zone. The moon. Do you know that moon also affects the weather? The moon affects the weather in a way that when it is high in the sky, it creates bulges in the planet's atmosphere that makes changes in the amount of rainfall. The moon is the only natural satellite of the Earth. A satellite is an object that revolves around a larger object. The moon doesn't produce its own light. It only reflects the light coming from the sun. Since the moon is revolving around the Earth, the amount of light it reflects from the sun varies as it changes its position. The appearance of the moon changes from time to time. It is because the lighted portion on the moon changes as it moves around the Earth. This obvious change in the appearance of the moon is known as the phases of the moon. The moon has 8 phases for primary phases and for intermediate phases. The moon goes these 8 phases in 29.5 days. The period it takes for the moon to complete the phases is called month. New moon. This occurs when the moon is between the sun and the earth. In this position, it is the dark side of the moon that is facing the earth. During this phase, the moon is not visible from the earth. Waxing crescent. After a new moon, when the moon seems to be growing, it is undergoing a waxing phase. As the moon starts to appear in a semicircular form, waxing crescent starts to appear. First quarter. This phase of the moon happens when half of the moon's face is lighted up. Whether it is left or right depends on where you are located on Earth. The first quarter moon rises around the midway and is visible in the sky. Waxing gibbous. When the moon is between quarter moon and full moon, the moon is called gibbous. During this phase, the most portion of the moon is visible in the sky. Waxing means that the moon is getting bigger. Full moon. A week after the first quarter moon, you can see the whole lighted side of the moon. This phase is called full moon. A full moon appears as the entire circle in the night sky. Waning gibbous. After the full moon, the waning phase of the moon starts. It is when the moon appears to be getting smaller each night. Last quarter. On the 3rd week of the month, the half of the moon's lighted side will again be visible. This is called last quarter moon. Waning crescent. Crescent means less than half of the moon is lighted. Waning crescent is a phase where the moon is nearing to the completion of the cycle. Belief and practices associated with the moon. Phases of the moon are often associated with the superstitious beliefs. During the ancient times, people believed that the moon has a big influence in their lives. They used the moon guide. The moon tells when to plant and when to harvest. The moon also gives them sign about the weather. These beliefs and practices were passed from generation to generation. In modern times, some of these beliefs and practices are still part of the lives of some people. However, because of man's continuous search for evidence, what used to be a mere belief yesterday can have a scientific explanation today. Moon and planting. Many farmers believe that planting when the moon is in specific phase may bring good harvests. It is because the growth rate of plants can be affected by them. The different phases of the moon influence the groundwater beneath the earth and affect the movement of fluids within plants. Moon and weather. When the sun, moon and earth line up and the moon is its perigee closest to the earth, you can expect lower temperature. This is due to the combined gravitational pull of the moon and the sun. During full moon, it causes a bulge in the ocean. Write true if the statement is correct and false if not. 1. A full moon appears as the entire circle in the night sky. 2. When the moon is between quarter moon and the full moon, the moon is called crescent. 3. The moon has 7 phases. 4. The period it takes for the moon to complete the phases is called month. 5. Waning crescent is a phase where the moon is nearing to the completion of the cycle.